Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sunshine Islands. It is the 28th day of fall, which brings us to our last crop festival for the year, and we have managed to grow some A-quality yams after figuring out the trick with the sun and the water points rather than the B quality stuff that we've been growing. So I do think we are going to be able to win today, which is great news. I've already done all of my chores and I've done all of my watering. So we can pretty much go right on over to the festival. But I do have just some minor things to talk about here in the maker shed. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some milk into the cheese maker. And I should have put enough through to get our cheese maker sunstone. Hooray! Whew, it's taken a very long time to get to that point. And I'm hoping that it's going to speed up a little bit having 3 cows in order to get the sunstones for our yogurt and our butter maker. And if I ever get my hands on an Orange Wonderful, we can also speed up that process as well. But it's always really nice to get ourselves another sunstone. We now have 21, which means that we are only missing 9 in the game until we're able to raise Sunny Island. And a lot of those are going to come from the maker shed and from our trees. And so some of the sunstones that we have to get are very time consuming, but we kind of have nothing but time at this point. And when I was crossing off the cheesemaker sunstone on my list of 100 sunstones, what I noticed was that the language was written in such a way that it said that you had to use each of the makers 100 times, not that you had to make 100 products with each maker, if that makes sense. But that is not true as far as I've been able to tell. And I'm gonna kind of prove that right now. So our thresher here, I have used it only once, and the only time I used it was during a recording when I was talking about how to use the thresher and the flour mill. And I don't recall exactly how many pieces of reaped rice I put into the machine. But the point is, I only used the thresher once. So if we just, for example, just to test it out, throw 82 pieces of reaped rice into the thresher, we will get a sunstone for that. So I didn't need to individually break up each piece of reaped rice from the stack of 82 and put it all individually 82 times. I was able to just throw the whole stack in there and get myself a sunstone based upon how many pieces I got last time I used it. Which is good news for me because I remember when I got the yarn maker, I threw in a big stack of wool that I had been saving up from my first sheep. And we're getting really close to getting the yarn maker sunstone, so I'm glad that I don't have to wait on that, and it doesn't actually require me to use it 100 times, which is really nice. Something like the seed maker as well, I've been throwing in 2 or 3 crops at a time to be able to get 2 or 3 bags of crops at a time. Something like the seed maker, it's a little bit harder for me to sort of keep track of exactly how many things I've gotten out of it. With the maker machines, I can sort of ballpark it based upon how much I've shipped. For example, you can see here that I haven't quite shipped 100 pieces of cheese. I've most likely kept some of the cheese for myself or given it away as gifts. But for the most part, I do try and ship all of my animal products so that it gives me a really good idea about how close I am to completing those Maker Machine Sunstones. So this is just a general idea, whereas with the seed maker, you actually can't sell bags of seeds. What you can do is you can sell them to Chen if you want to, but the assets menu will only keep track of what it is that you've put through the shipping box. Either way, I'm not worried. Like I said, whoops, I almost forgot to bring my yams. That would have been bad. Getting a little bit ahead of myself. But as I was saying, we really have nothing but time. There's a lot of other stuff that we have to wait for. We have to wait another year to get more fruit from our trees. We have to wait for our daughter to grow up. Alright, now I can go to the festival. I left those yams out in the sun for an extra few days as well. I don't really think it makes much of a difference. It certainly didn't increase the quality at all, but I didn't pick them early and then have them in my bag to degrade in quality at least, which is nice. It's always a good idea to try and pick your crops as close to the festival day as you can, because obviously once something goes in your pocket, the quality starts to degrade, and you can put it in your fridge, but sometimes that doesn't help all that much either. Well, I actually haven't played ahead, so I'm not sure what color Wonderful we're gonna get, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a yellow, because the Pumpkin Festival is coming up 2 days from now, and I think it has to be sunny or at least cloudy. So the chances of me getting a yellow are pretty high. Would I be surprised? Absolutely not. Am I gonna be disappointed? Absolutely. So that's perfect. We were able to win. And I am confident we would have been able to win last season with our onions if I had realized earlier the whole weather way of being able to increase crop quality. So next year we're gonna have to grow her some strawberries, which we do have. And yep.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
Perfect, outstanding, just simply amazing, 10 out of 10. Can't believe, well actually, nope, I can believe it. I say sarcastically that we got another yellow. How many Wonderfuls have I gotten this year in total? And how many of them have been yellow? Because I've lost track. I remember winning a blue one at the fishing contest, but other than that, I think we've gotten a yellow at every other festival, which is just so painful to me. Because I think the only festival that we have in the wintertime where we're actually able to win something is the mining festival. So it's gonna be a good long while before we are able to get another wonderful. Although I do believe on my wedding anniversary, which princess will be giving me a wonderful. But unfortunately, again, that is something I can't choose. It's not like your spouse says, hey, pick your favorite color, and you get to pick a wonderful. It is once again based on the weather. Everything is based on the weather in this game, it feels like, anyways. The only other update that I had is that Chen has something new for sale in his store, but I didn't even realize that it was a Friday until I started recording this video. So it's a bummer. They're standing here behind the counter, but they are actually closed today, so I can't really go over that or buy the bags of seeds, but that is something I will be doing off screen. I will buy the new crop that we unlocked. We unlocked buckwheat. And we unlocked that by shipping a total of 100 of each of our fall crops. Our eggplants, carrots, yams, and spinach. I think the only crop that I had less than 100 of going into this year was spinach, and I grew quite a bit of it. I grew quite a bit of everything, really. You can see our yam total is absolutely insane, just because they grow so quickly. So once we shipped 100 of each of the fall crops, we gain access to buckwheat. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to really do much with that because you can only grow it throughout the summer and fall seasons. Although if we do purchase a greenhouse in the wintertime, that is something that we could potentially put in the greenhouse. Or we can just wait and deal with that at another time. And despite the fact that it's a grain, you can't plant it in the paddy. The rice island is for rice only, which might seem obvious just because of the name. And I guess it sort of is, but grains are kind of their own thing entirely, and we are missing other grains as well because we haven't quite shipped 100 summer crops or 100 spring crops, which actually kind of surprises me at this point that I haven't done that. But that is all a bunch of things that I can work on doing either through the greenhouse or just when the appropriate season rolls by next year. And we only have 2 days left of the season. So I'm not going to be covering the pumpkin festival just because there's really no point in doing so. And I'm going to just continue onwards and finish up the month basically. I have a few more harvests coming in. I should still get one more harvest of eggplants, one more harvest of yams. I've got some carrots coming in. I'm gonna have to put all of my barn animals inside for the winter season. And if I have any mature grass left that they haven't eaten, I'm going to cut it down with my sickle and add it to their fodder total before the grass goes dormant for the winter time. Gotta make sure that those guys have enough food. And I think what I'll do at the beginning of winter is I will sort of go over the end of the season. And that's sort of what I do at the end of a season rather than the beginning of a season, but because winter is usually a pretty quiet season in general and there's just kind of less to do, I think it's a good idea for me to just finish up what I'm doing and then go over anything that I might want to talk about or anything that I hadn't covered up until now, which I don't think is going to be much, so I can kind of combine the end of this season with the beginning of the winter season in the next video. So that is my plan. I've gone over everything that I wanted to cover today. I want to thank everybody so very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that I will see you next time.